Pro-pipeline protesters showed up in droves outside the Fairmont Palliser as the federal finance minister was in town, and he spoke inside. This is the second time we've seen this kind of response while Bill Morneau was in town, and there was a rally outside City Hall before as well. So the big question, is the rally cry being heard? Cody Battershill, the founder of Canada Action, joins me. And Cody, there have been a lot of great rallies. Do you feel that your message is getting through to those who are in charge?
You know, I think it is, because we now have a majority of Canadian premiers that are supporting Trans Mountain vocally, that are opposing Bill C-69. We're seeing renewed interest in Energy East, talking about why are we importing oil from countries with weaker environmental standards into our country, and on the competitiveness file, you know, Air Canada, RBC, Scotiabank, businesses from across the country talking about our that we're losing investment and we're losing jobs to other jurisdictions.
So the finance minister was in town. Do you feel like we're hearing any kind of news when it comes to the pipeline and whether it's being built? Are we moving even if it's just inch by inch?
Well, we're focused on policy and we are nonpartisan, but with Bill Morneau being in town again, you know, we felt it was important because in the invite to the event today, it said, you know, the government's taking real action for Canadians. And I know there's 180,000 Albertans and Western Canadians that aren't working right now. So they would, I think, like to know what that real action is. You know, they canceled Northern Gateway. They canceled Energy East with regulatory changes. They have not done everything possible on Trans Mountain. They're pushing Bill C-69, which is the No More Pipeline bill. The Bill C-48, the Alberta oil export ban from the northern coast. They've got other policy, and I just don't think that we've seen the action from them that we need to see.
How important is it? We've got two elections. We've got one in Alberta coming up in probably 20 days or so, and then there's going to be a federal election as well. So first off, we'll get to the first one, the Alberta election. What do people need to know when they're going to go and vote? What do they need to be looking at when it comes to if they are pro-pipeline and they want to see some movement? What do they need to be looking for?
You know, whoever wins the election, I hope that they're going to take a renewed interest in our competitiveness. When we attract investment, that creates jobs. We have seen something like $250 billion of asset sales from international companies leaving Alberta and leaving Canada since 2015, in addition to companies that are Canadian that are investing in the United States, and in addition to stalled or canceled research projects across the country. That is unacceptable. We need to get, you know, we can compete with anyone in the world if we just make sure that the policy is there so that our ingenuity and our entrepreneurs and our workers can go to work and can feed their families without the government trying to impact them and get in the way.
Absolutely. And so if people are looking through policies when they are deciding on their vote, what do they need to look for? Can you be a little more specific? Or?
Well, you know, I think we need to stand up for ourselves. I think that for the last 10 years, we haven't built any new pipelines. I think that we've got all these pipelines delayed or canceled. The United States is building 8 pipelines right now just in Texas. You know, they're exporting oil to 40 countries around the world. We're exporting 99% of our oil to the United States at a huge discount. That's money that should be going into our social services and our prosperity. So I think we need to stand up for ourselves. You know, there's recently an anti-oil activist that was hired to the Alberta Energy Regulator. I think we need to ask these people to explain their past. You know, we had Zipporah Berman that was working for the government. These people take credit for blocking pipelines and helping to create the unemployment levels that we have, and they're not doing any good for the environment. I think we also need to get out there. We need to be proud, positive, and proactive. We have the friendliest, cleanest, you know, we have fair trade, clean tech oil and gas, and the global demand is growing. We should be proud.
Okay, and we do have a federal election coming up as well. How important is to get that information out to the rest of Canada about pipelines? They're starting to learn a little bit more, not just in Alberta.
This is a missed opportunity for industry that we're working towards trying to fix. You know, we're all Canadian and all Canadian jobs matter. So SNC-Lavalin, General Motors, the energy sector, we're all Canadian. All of our families are the same. We're all equal. We all matter. So we need to work on educating and working with the rest of the country so that the rest of the country understands from 1960 till 2017, Alberta contributed something like $600 billion in 2017 terms, net transfers and equalization. When Alberta's prosperous, Canada's prosperous. And global oil demand is growing, and we have the highest standards in the world. So we got to build bridges. It's not east versus west or us versus them, but we should be treated fairly, and we should be allowed to work. You know, we need to get those pipelines back under construction at the first opportunity. No more delays, no more political games.
All right. Well, thanks so much for your time.
Thanks for having me.
Cody Battershill from Canada Action.